Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel. This is Dylan. We just met him here at the beach and his lovely blue van. He's been generous enough to give us a van tour today, so we're looking forward to showing you that.
This is Murphy, Murph the Smurf, the big blue bus. It's a 2008 V6 turbo diesel, and we've been collecting stickers of everywhere we've gone. Haven't been completely thorough with that, but we've done a big loop around the whole US, so every time we go to a new spot we pop a sticker on there. So one of the most recent updates that I've had was this bungee to hold in my shoes so that they're not inside of the van getting everything stinky and smelly and gross. And then my buddy did a big trip to South America and he gave me that photo, so
That's cool. He's fun.
You can step in, and this is the kitchen. Well, I guess for starters, that's Teddy Bear. Hey, bud.
Go ahead.
So this is our sink. Pretty standard. It's got a normal faucet that's got the pull down. It runs on a SureFlow water pump, which is kind of the standard for van life. And then I installed this guy on the road. This is a 3-stage filtered water. Nothing too special, but kind of the easiest way to get filtered water on the road.
Is this a 15-inch?
I don't even remember, to be totally honest. I wanted a bigger sink because I hate doing dishes and like banging things, and you know, you mess up your sink that way. So didn't like that, but I put it right on the countertop, which is just a 3/4 inch piece of plywood with laminate over it. I did myself, which is why you can see the corners have come off. That's okay, we just try not to think about that. This is Frida, our peace lily.
Nice.
And kind of the less pretty stuff would be down here. I made a sliding door for it, and we've got a 7-gallon gray water tank in there. I've got trash, the pumps, and everything down there that's not as much fun to look at. So we also, you can see from here, our freshwater tank, which is a 20-gallon tank. And I kind of did something different, I think, from what most people do. It's not a pressurized tank, so it needs to be vented. So what I have is a little valve on here that whenever we're moving, we actually close it so that everything's contained and no water's sloshing around. We have to make sure that we do that every time we move, or that we turn on this, because if it's closed and we turn on the sink, it will implode on itself. No. So we have to be careful. So
how often do you go through the 20 gallons?
It depends. Right now my beautiful girlfriend is not here, so it's just me. So drinking water lasts a lot longer, and we try our best to save water with dishes. So I would say our 20-gallon tank probably lasts us about a week, probably. And then we can just fill up. So I've got a hose that I pull out, and we just fill up pretty much wherever. So that is that. Nothing too special in there. I also have an accumulator attached to the SureFlow pump that maintains the pressure so that the pump isn't like running all the time every time you turn this on. So that's kind of the guts of the sink. We've got the other part of the kitchen, classic banana hammock. I wanted to put the paper towel somewhere. My girlfriend was like, "Oh, we should just put it right there." Totally works out.
That's perfect. Does it come unrolled? Like everybody says, you need the ratcheting kind or whatever.
No, I mean, I barely even noticed that she had put that there, to be honest. So it's been there a couple weeks, and it hasn't come off since. So I'll give you an update on that once I'm a little bit more experienced with it. So starting in this corner, we just opted for normal wallpaper, which looks really nice, or did look really nice before our the humidity started wrinkling it. This side's not as bad because I used a good piece of wood. On that one I used OSB, which is like the pieces of wood that are all pressed together. Okay. So it's highly suggest not using that for your van.
Do you like having the divider there between the front seat and
I do. I do because you can put stuff here. Also, I put stuff on the other side, like his leash is right here on a hook, and Also can just, food is over there and just whatever random junk that we need to put in a corner. So continuing with that, we've got the magnetic knife holder. Just like everyone that is in van life has said, they actually do work. I've never had one fall on me. So for our refrigerator, I have a beautiful piece of artwork from my little cousin.
Oh, nice.
But behind that is our truck fridge, 12 volt compressor fridge. It is just big enough for everything that we could really need for 2 people and a dog. And we have ice cubes, which is wonderful. Moving on to all the cabinetry. We did all of it ourselves, from scrap, wood, and paint, and everything. So just to go through it, we've got like pots and pans. That one's hard to open for whatever reason.
And you have a magnet that keeps it.
I actually have these plastic pieces right here.
Okay.
That one's dusty, and they work great. I think they're like 15 pound or something like that. I tried magnets at first. Things would pop open, and I didn't want to install more magnets. So these work awesome. Okay. I have them on everything, even all of these cabinets, and they work great. I recommend them 100%. Got them off of Amazon. And then when you close them, you just click shut. It doesn't open. So another thing that my girlfriend contributed to the whole van build and design was the pantry. She really wanted one of the slide out pantries, so nice. I made one for her, and that has been awesome. I'm really glad she convinced me of that.
Good idea.
Yeah, we always have a giant bottle of wine. Got a little Bailey's in there for the holidays. And then as far as these two, we didn't want to have like little cabinets that, you know, there's a lot of building, and you know, why do I need to open like 5 different cabinets for different stuff? So we just made 2 big ones and just stuffed everything in there. Doesn't look the prettiest when you open it, I guess, but it's like your junk drawer at home. Same thing with the bottom one, except for we have a little divider in there that, I think that was like a CD rack or something. We just popped it in there and it fit perfectly, so we're like, heck yeah. So that's just all of our random stuff. And then that's pretty much the bottom of the kitchen. Moving up, we've got our radiator screen upper cabinets.
Those are really nice.
Also my girlfriend's idea. Anything that looks nice, mostly her ideas. We just keep all of our dry goods up there, and I never hid all the cords.
Oh.
I didn't want to. It was a lot of work, and when they're closed, I didn't want to take up more space than I needed to. But they're all on gas struts. They all have super cheap, you can get like 100 of these for like 10 bucks or something, these hinges.
Okay.
And none of them have failed me in 8 months of being on the road at all. Sometimes they squeak, but I just put a little bit of bicycle lube on there and fix them right up.
And you said those are those hooks that are plastic that you got that keep it.
These, yeah, this is a better, you can see them a little bit better than that one down there. So it comes in right here, and the hook just pushes this little piece on there, and it's got a, I think a spring in there or something. So when it closes nice and solid. The bad part about that is that you kind of have to pull them. So I always do like a little jerk, and then you can let them go, and then they open up. So we keep our coffee and all our normal stuff up there, normal pantry stuff. So that's the upper part of the kitchen. This is it's a propane stove. It works great. Has an electric starter, and it's plugged in right now, so it just turns on, and both of them. We do have to be careful with the back one because we've got the curtain right here, so a lot of times you have to like open it, or I just make sure and push back. But propane is awesome. I love propane. Yes, it isn't the greatest if you're like in a sealed environment, so we try and open the window and everything.
Right.
But we have a 11-pound tank, which I'll show you in a second, and it lasted us 6 months.
Wow. Of
like every day, you know, cooking and coffee in the mornings or breakfast, what have you. 6 months, and then I went to refill it. $8. It's amazing. Yeah, right. I love it. Yeah. So, and I love this is another Amazon find. I think it was like 100-something bucks. The next thing that's not the kitchen is the bathroom, which is hidden right here. I've got a That's just to keep things dry. But we've got a little cassette toilet. Let's pull that out. Obviously, emergencies only for number 2, but we do use it pretty often for number 1. Because who wants to like get up and go to a public restroom in the middle of the night, especially, you know, my girlfriend. So this is great. This is another thing that's only like $100 on Amazon, and it is awesome. I love it. It fits perfectly right in there, and you can see just a normal toilet, and it stays clean. We keep it clean and doesn't smell or anything. So huge buy with that one. And then when we're finished, we just slide it back in there, and we're good to go. And right next to it, I'm not going to open it for you guys because it's kind of a hassle, but this is a propane locker that I made out of scrap wood. It is airtight and it's vented through the bottom of the van. Okay. Because propane is heavier than air, and so it will just leave if there's a leak or something like that. And inside of that is where our little 11-pound tank is. And so then there's a hose that leads to our stove, and that's how we cook stuff. Nice. So,
how often do you have to dump your toilet?
The toilet, oh gosh, not that. I just dumped it yesterday. I mean, we use public restrooms so often. Right. I mean, we can go like a month probably, realistically. If you're using it all the time, obviously it'll only last like a few days or something. Like
you don't actually smell it then? Is it?
It doesn't smell.
Oh.
As long as it's closed. When you open it, if it's like full, like you'll be like, oh, that is pungent. But you close it and it goes away. So never really a huge problem. I know that was one of the things we would have loved to have, like a shower in an actual bathroom, but I wanted the shorter bus because I wanted to go into parking spots and
same here.
Just zipping around and stuff. Mm-hmm. So it was one of those things that's a trade-off.
So what do you do for showers?
For showers, we have a Planet Fitness membership. Okay. Planet Fitness has gyms all over the country. I've never been in a place that didn't have one. It's $30 a month for 2 people, and all of them have showers, and most of them are 24/7. So it's like, it's a no-brainer. So this is the living room. It's 2 couches and a revolving table, which is one of my favorite things in here. I made it really big, so you gotta like squeeze, and Ted gets freaked out sometimes when I'm going around. He may have been hit in the head once or twice on accident. So this table is one of my pride and joys too. I found this coffee table behind, like in an alley in California. We were driving by, and I saw that it was like the butcher block style, and I was like, that is amazing, I'm taking that. So I cut it up, sanded it, stained it, and so now it became our table. And I splurged and bought the Lagoon mount because they're amazing, and that is what this is. So I just mounted it right on there, and I've got little cubbies here that I built on the road for all our knickknacks. Originally this one in particular was made to hold my speakers, but it has since been taken over by girly trinkets that make it look a little bit nicer in here. That goes along with this one right here on the other side. Same thing, girly trinket. And then I put hooks. Hooks are our best friend in the van. I love putting stuff in places that is quick and easy, so you'll see hooks all over this thing. And then right next to those you'll see another aftermarket edition. Fishing poles have a place to go. They break down and can be stored underneath couches, but I don't want to like take them out and assemble them every time I want to go fishing. I kind of just want to get going. So I have 2 of them.
It looks neat to see them hanging there too.
Yeah, they look good, and the girlfriend gave the okay for them, so I was like, all right, let's put them on. So how we sleep is that the bed converts into a king wide, but shorter than a king, because I made it just big enough for me, and my girlfriend is shorter than I am, so that's no problem. To make it happen, we have to disassemble the lagoon mount and the table. I put that on there. This goes right here on these little ledges that I made. Like that. And then I can reach under here. Got a couple cross beams that are the same. They also go here. And then the bed cushions, I won't disturb Ted.
Yeah, that's okay.
But they come forward and then this goes down.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then all of our bedding is right behind you on that shelf. There's also more cubbies in the back. I've made those after the fact as well while we were on the road. And I wired up USBs on both sides so that we could have our nightstand charging units. I know, yeah, there's some more hooks behind you as well. That's our kind of like our wardrobe for hanging.
Yeah. I like that style.
We also have a screen right here that is our cheap version of like the $400 Sprinter aftermarket screens. It rolls out and then also folds out. All Velcro. I haven't drilled anything in. And then I'm not going to undo that side because I'm going to put it right back up. But this is just magnets and it Velcros to the side as well.
And how often have you used this?
Whenever there's bugs around. I've only had this for the last 2 months and we've used it a number of times whenever we're camping for the most part. I had it down just the other day here even because there's no-see-ums are flying around.
And they don't come through this?
I don't think so.
They're nasty.
Yeah, they're not fun. Ted does not like them either. So that's fun. This is 2 of them. They're $15 each at Home Depot, and I just cut one of them in half and then Velcroed it to the other one. Okay. So that's your $30 screen protection from bugs, because the ones that you buy for the vans, although they're nice and they fit perfectly, they are like extremely expensive. So not gonna happen. Just roll it up. Of course, we have the Maxx Air fan that every van lifer has. I forget what the other one is that they buy, but this one is definitely better. Mine only blows one direction because I was cheap and didn't get the both ways one. But this has been great. You can have it open and cook with propane while it's raining, which is super clutch, and it works great, and it blows really hard. One of the main things, one of the main things though is when this is on, you need to have some other thing open because the pressure, it won't do anything, and it wastes more electricity. So just crack the windows and all of a sudden you've got some airflow going, and it's great. It'll cool things down really nice because we don't have AC in the van, of course.
Want to talk a little bit about your ceiling and lights?
Yeah, the ceiling is a slatted roof ceiling that we made ourselves. All these pieces we cut ourselves, so they're not perfect, but they're close enough for us. And it's just a piece of like 1/8 inch wood with those pieces screwed on top of it. Underneath that is the wiring for the lights. We have the controls are over here, and they're on a dimmer, so we can make them dim or bright, whatever we feel like, depending on the light outside. Those are really great because we can be a little bit more incognito when the lights are low, and we can still see if we're in a spot where we don't necessarily want people to know we're hanging out in the van. So, I had some fun with the LED lights, and unfortunately I don't have them on all the time, but when it's dark you can see, there it goes. I've got a little party mode in the van. So that's fun, and we can use that as a night light too.
So where's the actual light? Oh, it's back behind that strip under the...
It's underneath here, yeah. So I was going to do it all the way around, but this one is enough when it's dark. And you can even make, you can't really tell right now, but you can make it go much lower in brightness. So it's kind of like our night light. And then I can just go and turn it off when it's time. We also have upper cabinets for all of our storage for all of our clothes and random stuff. So if you see this one, it's just a bunch of stuff in there that is has no other home. And then the rest of them are clothes. And we do what so many other people do, and we roll up all of our clothes. Sometimes they get wrinkly, and that's unfortunate, but luckily I don't have to go to work every day, so it doesn't really matter. And eventually they'd straighten out. So. But I really like the divider too. That was just super little thing that I did to make it a little bit more organized. So, and that's the same all the way around, and they're all on gas struts, so they do that nice little opening thing. We still have a lot of clothes even though we live in the van. I think too many, but when you're in different weather, you know, you're traveling, you gotta have it all. So. Okay, so one of my biggest complaints with the van is that all of our storage is actually hard to get to because I didn't make like sliding doors or anything to reach underneath. Instead I have hinges, so we have to, every time we want something underneath, go like that. And you can see we just have a lot of random stuff in there. For the record, this is Emily's side, my girlfriend, and not very organized. My side's pretty organized. And I have a 20-gallon tank on my side, so. And I can open it up more for you if you want to see the battery bank.
Sure.
That's actually super fun and unique too, because our batteries are awesome. Right here is where all the magic is. We have all the electrical that I did myself. It's super simple. You'll see a lot of systems that are really well done and organized, and mine's pretty organized, but it's also very minimal. I have 2 batteries, a solar charger, and a fuse box, along with some inline fuses. I also have an inverter underneath that is a 3,000 watt inverter, 1,500 watt inverter. I don't know, it's been a while.
What kind of batteries?
So we have lithium iron phosphate batteries,
And they're
which are the best ones for this kind of thing right now. They don't have any of the chemicals that make them light on fire, as opposed to other lithium batteries. And they're lighter and have a bigger range of capacity without them getting damaged than the classic AGM batteries or lead acid. So, but what makes ours even more special is that you'll see, if you get in here a little bit closer, they look kind of funky. You can he's super chill. This is Tammy and that's Shirley. Those are our batteries, and we actually made them ourselves.
Oh, really?
I have a buddy who's an electrical engineer, and he kind of got into the whole van thing when I was doing this, and he wanted to do it himself, and so we started talking, and he had the idea to actually make the batteries. So Tammy and Shirley are lithium iron phosphate batteries that have 4 cells each in them and a BMS module, and then my buddy 3D printed the cases for them, and we just put them all together and wired it together. So he did all of that, and then sent them to me because he lived in a different state, and it was during COVID, and FedEx took them apart and destroyed them, and so then I had to rebuild them afterwards, which was fun. So it was a lot of time spent on the phone. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it. But yeah, they're great. And to add to that, the BMS on them has a Bluetooth function, so I can see Shirley and Tammy. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but Shirley and Tammy, I can see exactly how they're doing at any time and what they're drawing or what their output is.
And are they like 200 amp hours each or something like that?
100 amp hour each. So if you compare it to the standard right now with van conversions, the Battleborn batteries, which are awesome, those are like $900 each, I think. I got both of my batteries from my buddy for $600, and so that's 200 amp hours for $600, which is awesome, crazy, as opposed to $2 grand.
Nice.
So that was a big win. Really happy about that. It took a little bit of finagling with the settings because you have to make sure everything is aligned with all your systems, but really happy about that. So that side has the batteries over here, and then on the other side we've got the 20-gallon water tank for fresh water. So I have a little bit of less storage on my side than my girlfriend does because of that 20-gallon tank, but I make it work. But I just put this up so that we have our like stuff that we're working out in the cork. Yeah. I bought it all from Home Depot and cut it all myself, and it still needs like a border trim, but it's nice to have like an actual list of stuff to do. So that's pretty cool. I like that. But this is the front. This is where the driving happens. Whoa. Everything's pretty standard. We've made it a little bit nicer with some plants. This cactus has been with us since the beginning, thanks to my girlfriend and her green thumb. A lot of the plants that we have in here were actually given to us by friends. People took them off their own succulents and we put them in glass bottles, and that's pretty nice. Other than that, everything in here is standard besides the aftermarket radio and Bluetooth, and then we also have a shelf above us that we installed because normally this is not here. We put a stereo speaker carpet on it so it kind of matches a little bit, and yeah, I never even noticed that it's there except for when I hit my head on it, which happens. But yeah, that's it for the front. Nothing too crazy. So Ted's super easy to take care of in the van. He's really low maintenance when it comes to dogs. We still buy the big food bag because it's cheaper and it fits right here perfectly. This is crucial, especially when you have a dog in the van. And this is nice. The Black & Decker vacuums are wonderful. Less expensive than those Dysons, and they work just as good. His food bowls stay here, although I'll be honest, he's super spoiled, and we usually bring the food to wherever he is, and he eats it laying down. But this little cubby is perfect for these bowls. Like,
oh yeah, that is perfect. Put them in further away. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to build the van?
Oh, that is a hard question. I think it took us, we left May 22nd, and we started probably mid-February, so we'll just say all of February. February, March, April, May. So it took us 4 months to build the van. And we weren't working that much, my girlfriend and I both, and we worked like every single day, and we still didn't finish all the things that we wanted to finish. So those people that do it in 1 month, kudos to them.
Not us.
Yeah.
What are you most proud of with the build?
Oh, the batteries.
Okay.
I'm most proud of those batteries because they were a huge money saver and they work pretty well. I don't really have to worry about the refrigerator going out with the solar, and they just hold a lot of charge for $600. I thought that was amazing. Plus, I kind of nerd out on all the electrical stuff, so that was fun for me to do.
That's one thing we didn't talk about solar.
Yeah.
So, I don't think.
There's 2 100-watt solar panels on top. Okay. Just 2. Okay. I know a lot of people have more than that, and I wish I had another one, but real estate is limited, so just have the 2. Bought them on Amazon. Okay. Like everything else.
What was your biggest challenge with building the van?
The biggest challenge was probably also the batteries. Getting them to work right was a big challenge. That's probably like the specific thing. The like more ambiguous thing that was hard was just like wanting to finish everything and being impatient and like working every single day and not being able to get it done as quickly as I would have liked. That was frustrating at times.
Is there anything you change?
I don't think I'd changed anything. I like it the way that it is. I love it. It's our little house, and every single day we add to it, and it's been great. Yeah.
What made you choose this van?
That was pretty hard, like choosing the Sprinter van. I mean, I gotta admit, like the cool factor was definitely a part of it. Like I really wanted a Sprinter. I just like the way they look, and they're kind of like the OG van conversion. Not the OG one, I guess the like beach buses are the OG ones, but this current demographic of conversions, they were kind of like the go-to. Now that I have it, I'm like, wow, the transits might be a little bit easier to deal with because This thing has already had some problems. I bought it used.
Okay.
And it only had 80,000 miles on it, which is good for a diesel. But it has, I've been fixing it for myself, because if you take it to a dealership, Mercedes, oh, it's the worst. So I've learned a lot of info on diesel engines, let me tell you.
Do you know how many miles you put on it since you've had it?
Yeah, I've put like 25,000 miles on it, I think, since I bought it in November of last year.
Okay. And I know you have a name for your van. I don't think you said yet though, right?
It's Murph the Smurf, Murphy.
And was it blue when you got it?
It was.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why we named it Murphy.
And what got you into van life?
I just had an opportunity to work remotely, and I'm an adventurous type of dude. I've done, I did a bicycle tour in Europe for like 4 months and lived on my bicycle. I love traveling. I wanted to save money too and be able to adventure and still work all at the same time. But more than all of that, my girlfriend, it was her idea originally. She wanted to do it. She's followed van lifers for, before it was cool. And when everything came together, when I could work remotely, she was down, and so that's what led us to where we are. I run a business called Revive Drinkware here remotely in the van. We sell wholesale drinkware custom for different businesses or organizations or what have you. We have a shop in Arizona, and that's where all the magic happens, and my portion of that is all on the computer, which allows me to live this wonderful life. This is an example of just one of the ones I made for myself, laser etched. So that's how my coffee comes every morning.
Do you have any recommendations or tips for people who are thinking about getting into van life?
Oh, that's a big question, right? Tips, you got to make sure you're the right kind of person. It's not easy, that's for sure. It's really fun, super adventurous. You get, new scenery every single day, but you also, you have to find bathrooms, and it gets dirty in here really quickly. It cleans up really quickly, but you got to be willing to clean. So I would just make sure that you would test it out first, is what I would say. Make sure you're down for that kind of thing.
And where have you guys traveled so far?
We started out in San Diego. We went all the way up the West Coast to the Pacific Northwest, Seattle, and then we went east. We were hoping to do a Canada trip, but the borders are closed. Thank you, COVID. So we went all the way across the top of the United States, and then through the Midwest, all the way to Maine, northeasternmost point, and now we've gone down the East Coast, and we're trying to finish up in Key West, which we are so close, so close.
You have any trouble with police or kids goofing around? Any vandalism? Anything like that? Zero
problems. I think we've been told by a police officer once to move, and because we use iOverlander like everyone else, and there was one spot on iOverlander that was it seemed good and beautiful spot in California, and a few of us were parked there, van lifers, and they came early, even it wasn't even like the 2 o'clock knock. It was they just told us you can't be there. We went to a different spot up the road, no problemo. Yeah, and vandalism, I mean, we worry about that stuff, we're pretty cognizant of it, but nothing has happened. We read all of the things on iOverlander. Don't just go, read what people have said. So we always do that. We always use iOverlander. There's only been a handful of times that we actually just kind of wing it on our own. So that's been great.
And if people want to connect with you, how can they do so?
So you can follow us a few different places. You can follow me personally at Dylan Thomas Austin on Instagram. You can follow my girlfriend, which is the one that you really want to follow, at Emily Elizabeth Wade, or you can follow our Vangram at Murphy & Company.
All right, that wraps up our tour. Thanks so much to Dylan for showing us his awesome van. Please remember to subscribe and hit that like button if you enjoyed the tour, and we'll see you next week.
Check out the video description below for links to some of the items featured in the tour today. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more van life videos.